Greetings everybody. Here's a question I got today from assignment 2.3, and I'm given this data. Which is true with a lot of questions. We're given raw data. It says, I guess they did some kind of survey. They asked people, how many TVs do you have? And it says there are 29 households that don't have a TV at all. There's 448 households that have one TV, and so on. I guess it didn't go higher than 3. I guess nobody they surveyed had more than 3 TVs, but that's the data that we have. And then it says use this information to construct a probability distribution. And I do think that makes it sound like a more complicated question than this really is. So let's talk about how to do it. So here's that data that we were originally given. And first I want to say, well, according to this data, I would need, if I'm going to calculate probabilities, I need to know how many households are there total. Like, because what we're thinking is they did this survey to a bunch of houses. They said, how many TVs do you have? And they tallied the data, right? So the total number of households in the sample would be 29 plus 448 plus 721 plus 1403. So that's 2601 households total. That's how many households there are that we're talking about. All right. Now, what we're going to do when we make this probability distribution is something like this. The question that is at hand is actually pretty simple. What if I ask you what the probability is that you select a house at random from this sample and it has one television? What are the odds of that? You know, say you had a way to like blind yourself to the households, that you pick a number out of a hat, whatever. What are the odds that the household you select has one television? Well, there's 448 households with one television according to this data, and there's 2,601 households total. So it'd be, the odds of that are 448 over 2601, which, if rounded to a decimal, is 0.1722. Okay. Now, how does that translate into this? Well, X is like saying the number of televisions. So if X is 0, then what we're saying is, all right, that means the household has no TV. If X is 1, that means it has 1, 2, 2, and 3, 3, okay? So when I calculate P of X, that's the probability that X is 0 in this case, or that the random household you select has no television. If X was 1, P of X would be, what are the odds that a randomly selected household will have one TV, and so on. So it's just like asking this question, but it makes it seem more complicated. This is called a random variable, all right? So, all right, so I could state this question either way. I could say, what are the odds that a random house has one TV? Okay, 448 over 2601. Or I could say, if I say X is the number of television and P of X is the probability that a random household has X television, what's P of 1? Same thing. Like, it might seem more complicated, but these are the same question. I'm going to draw a double arrow as if to say, like, this is the same thing as asking that, and vice versa. Okay. Now I think that's all we need to complete this probability distribution. Okay. Now I've done the math already. Okay. Like, so for example, the probability that a random house has no TVs in it, this one, that'd be 29 over 2601. Probability that it has 2 TVs, 721 households in the sample have 2 TVs over 2601 total, and so on, and I get all these decimals. So let's do this. Let's put them in. So P of 0, all right, that's going to be 0.011. It says to round to 3 decimal places, so we always got to pay attention to that. I wrote every number down here to 4 decimal places. I'm going to round it to 3 when I put it in. P of 1, 0.172. Okay. All right. P of 2, 0.2772. We'll round to 0.277. Okay. And the last one, P of 3, 0.5394, will be to 3 decimal places, 0.539. Okay, so that'll do it then. That's the probability distribution. It's no different, I want you to see more than anything, than this initial question that I asked that didn't say anything about x or p of x. Just another way of thinking about it. Okay, so I do that and I got it right, and that's the objective. Anyway, hope that helps. As always, you can ask follow-up questions, other questions about the assignment, whatever it needs to be. But I hope what I had to say simplified this one quite a bit.